Hello, everybody. It's Foggy Senor here. This is, as far as I know, a test recording that I'm doing just for my own learning and experience and experimentation at home, but maybe this will end up on the channel because I'm going to just play some FTL and act like I am recording it for the channel, so I don't know, maybe it will go up on the channel. Anyway, FTL is a roguelike space ship game. Story-wise, I think it's going to explain itself once we get into it, but gameplay-wise, I'm going to have to do the explaining because I don't feel like going through the tutorial. I think I can explain the game to you guys better than the game itself can. I don't know. I'm gonna open up a new game here, and I should also explain myself. This is a game that let's come out of that menu for a second. This is a game that I have played several hundred hours of at this point. I got all of the achievements in the game, and I did it all on hard difficulty, and I loved it so much that when I finally got the last achievement or whatever, finished everything, all of the progression, unlocked all of the ships and everything, I deleted my file so that I could do it all again. That's how much I like this game. So, right now, I only have the Type A layout of the first ship, the Kestrel Cruiser, and I also have the NG Cruiser Type A. I don't know if you start with this. I'm not sure. I can't remember. I either unlocked this or you start with it. But my memory is that you only started with this one, so I don't know. I guess I unlocked this already at some point. And, yeah, so I'm going to, well, I don't know. I can't decide which one I want to play with. I think the Kestrel Cruiser is probably the way to go for just explaining how things work in the game. NG Cruiser is a little bit more specialized in terms of what it does and how you have to play with it. So we will use the Kestrel Cruiser. And I'll name it something cool like Foggy Deluxe. And I am not black, I'm white, so I will make myself... I'm the captain of the ship, of course. The captain of the ship has to be me. The captain of the ship has to be Foggy Senor. This is the way that the cookie crumbles. Foggy... I'm just gonna call myself Foggy, otherwise it's gonna cut my name off. Who do I want as my... This will be the person on the engines. So, what shall I call them? Who do I want on my engines? Better make it Joe Pesci. And then, on my weapons, who do I want firing my weapons? I think on the weapons, who to put on weapons? Well, we'll come up with a new person. We'll call him Freddy Shimster. That's a last name, right? Shimster? Surely there's somebody out there called that. Shall I explain what all this stuff is to you now, or shall I jump into the game and explain it to you? Well, I can sort of go through some stuff real quick. So this is our ship. This is what we're going to be looking at all the time when we're in the game. It has, to start with, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 systems and subsystems. Starting from the left, we have our shields. This is a barrier that we'll see. It's like a blue bubble around our ship that blocks one shot from enemy weapons. And it can block beam weapons as well, as long as they don't, as long as they're not like a powerful beam weapon that can cut through shields. You need to have enough barriers for whatever weapon it is. 2 blocks of power for each barrier, so in total you can have 4 shield barriers, but you would need 8 total power for that. Next we have our engines. Engines increase our dodge chance, so when enemies are firing at us, there is a chance that the shot will just miss us completely, so we don't have to worry about whether or not our shields can tank it. So that's how that works. Engines, very important. Oxygen, also very important, but not as important as you would think. This just refills the oxygen in the ship. We have the power to, as you can see, there's doors connecting all the different rooms, but there's also doors, whatever you call them, exterior doors to the outside, you know, that open up to space. There's airlocks, that's what you call these rooms here. So you can... Enemies will try to board your ship sometimes, and you can actually use that to your advantage. You can sort of vent the oxygen in some areas of the ship to sort of suffocate them. Pretty funny. So that's oxygen. Important, but like I said, not as important as you might think. There are times where I'll probably depower our oxygen so that I can power something else. Weapon control. Pretty self-explanatory. This is what powers our weapons. Here's our weapons down here. We're starting with a missile launcher and a pretty powerful early game weapon. I think this starting ship, they basically set you up pretty good for weapons. The Burst Laser Mark II, it fires 3 shots and only requires 2 power. So it's pretty nice. Yeah, so weapon control. The more you upgrade this, the more power you have available for more weapons. So each weapon has a power requirement, like I was saying. So there you go, that's weapons. We also have a med bay, where we can send our crew to heal if they take any damage. We've got our piloting, which somebody has to be in the piloting room. Right now it is me, and it probably will be for the majority of the run, unless I die or something. We can upgrade it to give it an autopilot, where I can leave the room and we'll still, we won't lose. That's the thing, somebody has to be in the room for us to actually have a chance at evading enemy fire. Otherwise it drops to 0. So that's that's piloting, and then sensors is what allows us to see all the rooms in the ship without having somebody physically standing in them. And upgrading it allows us to see the enemy ship's interior, and upgrading it further allows us to see their weapon charge and their and what they're using their power for. So this is kind of like oxygen for me. It's, you know, upgrading it at some point might be helpful, but it's not really something to focus on. Doors, however, as a subsystem, very important. Upgrading them can get you blast doors and improved blast doors that make it harder for the enemies to travel between rooms when they board your ship. They have to, like, break through the doors, so it gives you more time to do whatever you're doing and not really have to focus on them, and it makes it easier to suffocate them, like I was talking about before. Those are the systems that this ship starts with. There are other systems that we can buy at stores, and some of them replace kind of the systems we already have, or I guess one of them only, really. The med bay has sort of an alternate version of it called the clone bay, and the clone bay is cool, but I don't know. It works in certain like it's not bad, but I think I prefer the med bay. If I start with if the ship layout starts with a clone bay, I'll take it, and eventually I'll buy a med bay, like if I can spare the scrap for it, but the clone bay, you know, the clone bay gets the job done. So I like having a med bay on this ship, though. It's nice. That's all the stuff I think I can explain right now. Now we need to get into the game and actually see this ship in action and find out what we're supposed to be doing with it. So here we are. The data you carry is vital to the remaining Federation fleet. You'll need supplies for the journey, so make sure to explore each sector before moving on to the next, but get to the exit before the pursuing Rebel fleet can catch up. Yes, so... oh, and it's giving me a tip. I don't need tips. I know every friggin' thing there is to know. That's not true. This is one of those games where you can always sort of learn something new as you continue to play it, as you bang your head up against the wall of FTL, faster than light. So, we're hanging out at the very first beacon where nothing happens, we're just here. We've got some more stuff we can look at. So here's our weapons here. They each have we saw it when I was showing you the ship. They take some time to charge, and then once you fire them, they have to recharge. So there's like a whole timing element to ship combat. And over here is our reactor. This is how much power we have available to power all of our systems here. Subsystems are automatically like powered just on their own. They don't need reactor power as you upgrade them, so that's nice. But these regular systems do, and we can take power out of them to power other stuff, like I took power out of engines just now and put it into the med bay, so if this guy was hurt, send him in there, and then once he's at full health, I'd send him on back and take that power and put it back into the engines, or whatever, something like that. Up here is our hull integrity, counted in points and squares on a bar. As we take damage, this goes down, and if we hit 0, of course, our ship is going to explode and we'll lose the run. Here's our shields. Like I said before, you can get 4 layers of shields by the end of the game. Right now we've got 1. 2 bars of power per layer of shields. And then here's some resources that we need as we go along. Here's our fuel. We jump between beacons on this beacon map here. And we need fuel for each jump. So we've got 16 to start with. That's a good number, and I'd like to make it more, but, you know, can't control it, really. Well, you sort of can. There's only so much control that you have over it, is the thing. So, that's that. Next is missiles. We need missiles for any missile-based weapons, including our Artemis missile launcher here. So every time we fire this, it's going to consume one of these 8 missiles that we have right now. And then this is drone parts. We don't have anything that uses drone parts right now, but most likely we will if this becomes a successful run. There are some systems that use drone parts that I want, or there's one in particular. So that's that. I think that's everything I can explain right now, so we're going to go to the beacon map and pick a beacon to jump to. Right away, we have access to a store where we could buy or sell stuff that we had. But here's the thing. I'm starting with... Oh, this is the other thing. So here's our scrap. We don't have any scrap right now, but scrap is how you upgrade your ship, and it's also how you buy stuff at stores. So you get scrap. Usually for successful encounters with other ships, destroying enemy ships. You get scrap as rewards for different events. And you spend it on upgrading your ship and buying stuff at stores, buying fuel or missiles or buying new systems or repairing your hull. All the fun stuff like that. This is basically, when I try to explain it to people that don't play video games or whatever, I ask them if they remember playing Oregon Trail in school. And this is sort of like that. I don't know. It's like Oregon Trail, but in space, in a spaceship. You're traveling from one place to another in the galaxy or the universe or whatever. You're trying to survive and make resource-based decisions along the way to, I don't know, ensure your survival and success. Whatever, let's do this thing. We're jumping in at, let's see. I'm gonna start with this beacon here. We will see what happens when we get there. You jump into an unremarkable system. No life signs detected within scanning range. Okay. Cool. That's awesome. A waste of fuel. I'm gonna, let's see what this... You always gotta check what everything connects to in terms of these beacons. We can't see them yet, but eventually we will see the outline of the rebel fleet as it approaches, and we need to make sure that we stay ahead of them and get to the exit without getting caught up in that the area of them. So you want to avoid that, but you also want to hit as many beacons as you can, because that's the only way you're going to get enough scrap to, you know, to pay for everything that you need by the end of the game. You immediately notice a rebel ship chasing what appears to be a civilian transport. However, you are detecting chatter on an encrypted Federation channel. That transport is carrying Federation loyalists. Well, I guess we gotta help them out, right? So let's aid the Federation ship. You power up your weapons and engage the rebel ship. Awesome. So here's the rebel ship. Rebel fighter. Hostile. We're gonna be fighting this ship. We get to see the layout of their ship. We get to see where the systems are, but we don't know really what's going on inside of there. Let's get going on this fight. So this is a combat. It's real time with pause, so you can pause the game and tell all your people and your weapons what you want them to do. Unpause and watch it unfold. So in this stage of the game, I'm trying to conserve missiles if possible. And what happened right there was actually very good for us, because their weapon setup is such that this gun here fires first. It fires one shot, and if it had hit, it would have hit our shield barrier and popped it. And it would take a few seconds to recharge. But if it had popped the shield barrier, their other weapon here is a beam weapon, which charges up in a way that it fires sort of just after that shot fires. So our shields would be down, and they would be firing their beam weapon, and it would probably hit 2 or 3 different rooms of ours and cause some hull damage. So it's a good thing that shot missed. It means we're not going to take hull damage for right now. And I charged up our Burst Laser Mark II and managed to do a point of damage to their weapons bay. So the beam weapon is no longer online, and they need to send somebody into that room to repair it. So we've bought ourselves some time here. And I think next I'm going to fire at their shields and try to take those down. Oh no, let's alright, we're gonna switch back to weapons here. There you go. We've got their weapons bay completely wrecked. They're at 0 power now on their weapons bay. Time to focus on shields again. And yeah, like I was saying, I want to, as much as possible, conserve my missiles going forward here. Basically, I want to use my missiles for sort of emergency situations. Okay, yeah, back to weapons. They must have had the whole crew in there repairing them. And there you go. That's our first battle. Successful, flawless victory. With the ship destroyed, you quickly collect useful resources. Nice. 3 fuel, 2 missiles, 14 scraps. Scraps. What am I talking about? Let's contact the Federation ship that we just rescued. Thanks, we didn't think there would be rebel ships all the way out here. They seem to be searching for something. Take some extra supplies as thanks for your aid. Okay. Another missile, a drone part, and 13 more scrap. I'll take it. The other thing I'm going to try to be saving as much as possible is scrap itself. I know I talked about spending it on ship upgrades, but the thing about that is there are things in stores that I think you sort of have to buy, especially on hard difficulty like this, in order to have a chance at a successful run. So, and these things that I'm talking about are like the most expensive things you can buy in the stores, so, while ship upgrades are useful, and spending them will probably, you know, sort of help you out on whatever sector you're currently on, ultimately, I think waiting on ship upgrades is probably the smarter choice. For instance, I recently had the sort of eureka moment where I decided that, specifically that upgrading engines can wait sort of until later, because upgrading your engines does increase your evasion chance here, but your evasion chance, as long as you have somebody in the engines room manning it, as you get into fights and ships fire at you and the shots miss, like in that, you might have noticed it. So when shots miss us over here, you'll see we have experience bars for our crew members, and so Joe Pesci, who we have in the engine room, is getting experience on engines every time we evade a shot. So when that experience bar fills up, he'll sort of level up, and our evasion chance will level up with that. And it's the same for piloting, so basically what I'm saying is, as we go along, our evasion chance is going to be increasing anyway. And it's not, you know, it's not ideal. It's not going up by as much as it would if you were putting scrap into it, but I think it's enough to be getting on with, and it's especially helpful to do that if you're like me and you're trying to save scrap for the stores. So that's my, like, I don't know, that's my sort of grand strategy explained here in the first, I don't know, jump of the game, but there you go. We have, here's the rebel fleet approaching on the beacon map here as we plan our next jump. Distress beacons, you basically always want to jump to those if you can. If it's not somebody who's actually in distress and needs our help, it's gonna be somebody pretending to be in distress so that they can, like, ambush people, and we'll, you know, we can get into a fight at least and maybe get some scrap out of that. So any beacon that says distress on it, try to work that into your flight path if you can. You arrive at the distress beacon near a small asteroid belt and find a ship with pirate markings partially crushed between two large rocks. It must have been illegally mining the belt without proper equipment. In this case, I usually like to take option 2 of destroy and loot the ship. If it works out, then we just get some stuff for free, and if the other thing happens, then we'll be getting into a fight, and we can still, you know, get some stuff. So, we'll destroy and loot the ship. Nice. You decide the pirate is not worth saving and fire a few volleys into their hull, causing the ship to depressurize and break apart. You move in to loot the remains. Now, I know this sounds very barbarous and cruel and evil and fascist and whatever other words you want to use for it, but here's the thing, guys. If we're gonna win the game, we gotta do some immoral and messed up shit. That's just the way it is. That's just the way it is in FTL. If you want to succeed, you gotta lose your humanity. So, you know, fuck those pirates. They were doing shit illegally anyway. I'm gonna try and justify what I've done by just calling them a criminal or whatever. You recognize the ship as a well-known slave trader. We've jumped to a new beacon, by the way. I just sort of I've gone into autopilot as I played so much of this game. Yeah, so we've run into a slave trader. He hails you and offers you laborers for cheap. Well, even if I wanted to buy one, I'm short 1 scrap, so I wouldn't, even if I did have enough. In this instance, I like to attack the slavers. If we can get their hull down low, we can get their hull integrity down low, they will then offer us a crew member for free, and I usually take that option because having more crew is good, and having more crew without spending scrap is even better. So we're going to attack this guy. I'm gonna do this the same way as I did my previous fight, but I'm a little bit worried this time around because this gun that he has here fires 2 shots. He has the same beam weapon as the first guy that we fought. But we're gonna have to see how this shakes out here. Okay. That was actually pretty lucky. One of his shots missed, one of them hit the shields, but his beam weapon managed, it only hit 1 room, so we took one damage to our hull. Not bad at all. We managed to hit his weapons bay. Their weapons bay. Why would I call a ship he? What is that? What is that? What? Alright, so we've got their weapons and their shields down. I'm firing at their engines bay, and they are offering me a surrender. We surrender. Take one of our slaves as tribute. If you destroy us, they'll all die anyway. Alright. I'm not sure how I feel about that logic, but they're offering us a Mantis crew member named Artyom. Is that like, I've heard that it's like a Russian name, yes? I don't know. I like to rename my crew members though when I get them, because I don't know. I've seen all of the names that the game generates, so I want to keep it interesting for myself. How about this Mantis can be called Omar Bug Guy. It's always fun to see which of the words you type in it's going to display. Because it can't, for whatever reason, it can't just show you the whole name of the person, so... Of Omar, Bug, and Guy, it chose Guy. I don't know. I started a fire on their ship, in the weapons bay, and I just heard another of their systems go down. I'm wondering if they're going to be able to put out the fire. We might see their ship explode here in a minute if I hang around too long. Guy, Omar, Bug Guy, I think I'm going to put him, for now I'm going to put him on the shields, bay. Reason being is that, having someone manning shields is, how should I put it? It's good, but not necessary, and the nice thing about Omar Bugman, and mantises in general, is that they are, they have innately a better, let me show you here, it probably will say it. The mantis disregard for individual lives led to their evolution as a vicious warrior race, so they have, their movement speed is multiplied by 1.2. They move a little bit faster than everybody else. And they inflict 1.5 times the damage in combat as humans. Humans are basically like the baseline sort of race as far as like skills go. All their skills are just like regular. They don't move any faster or slower. They don't, you know, all of that. But I guess it says that their crew skills improve slightly faster, so they learn engines and shields and piloting and all that faster, I guess. But the mantis are for, you know, they do damage in combat and they can move faster, so they can get to other rooms of the ship faster, like if somebody has boarded the ship and we need to go fight them. So I put them on shields because it's nice to have somebody learning the shields. Having somebody manning the shields just makes them recharge faster, by the way. And then once they level up, that recharge rate is even more faster. But shields aren't so important that if somebody boarded our ship, I couldn't just... the fire blew them up. I told you. Oh no, I feel bad. The crew and the slaves, everybody, they're all dead. Yeah, shields is a nice room to have somebody manning that you can also just like send them around the ship to do other stuff. So this is basically the only jump that would make sense for us to make, so we're gonna jump to here. Oh, brother. Upon completing your jump, you receive a message from a nearby ship. Greetings and welcome to our beacon. For a small fee, we'll let you continue on your way. No, that's not how space works. Fuck you. This is a pirate trying to rip us off here. So I'm going to reject their offer. This is the first time we've seen this. Hold on. Too bad, you will regret this decision. No, I won't. Shut up. This is the first time we've seen this. This is what they call a... Excuse me. This is what they call a Zoltan shield. It's single use. Like if we had... This is like a... What do we call it? I haven't shown them to you because we don't have any yet. But every ship has 3 slots for what are called augments, and the Zoltan shield is an augment. And the way it works is every time you make a jump, it charges up the Zoltan shield to full charge, and if you are getting fired at, any shot that hits is going to hit the Zoltan shield first, and that green bar there that represents it is going to deplete. And it does not recharge like regular shields, so Basically, it just soaks up damage for the beginning part of any fight that you get into. And running up against enemies that have it is very, very annoying because it just gives them a chance to get the first volley off, so to speak. So I'm going to set up my burst laser to auto-fire on their weapons. That way, every time it charges up, it's just going to immediately fire at that system. But the unfortunate thing is that, like I said, it has to break through the Zoltan shields first. So they're just going to be hitting us with that beam there. And right now we've got a fire in the oxygen room. They've also destroyed our med bay. Or not destroyed it. I don't know what to call it. They've put it in the red. It has no power. None. Zero. Same for oxygen. So the oxygen is actually going to start like depleting in our ship. Here's our O2. It's at 97 now. 97%. I'm just going to let the fire burn for right now. Trying to make sure that we... Okay, so yeah, now what I want to do is, since they're not firing projectiles at me anymore, I've hit their weapons bay and they only have the beam up for the time being, so I don't need Joe Pesci on the engines because he's not going to be leveling up from anything. They're not firing at us, so I can move him out of the engines room and then vent that area out to space and open all these doors so that we're taking the oxygen out of the oxygen room so that to kill that fire. And then we will close those doors back, and then I'm gonna take Guy, Omar, Bug Guy, and Joe Pesci, and I'm gonna send them in there to repair the O2 before it gets, before it gets out of hand. We've completely destroyed their weapons bay. Now I'm gonna shoot at their shields. I'm gonna keep an eye on these guys and make sure they don't suffocate to death. Okay, so they fixed the O2. I'm gonna open up all the doors so that the oxygen sort of refills a little bit faster there. Now these guys are gonna go repair the med bay. And I'm going to fire at the... Well, I don't know. What do I want to fire at? I guess weapons now. They're in there repairing it. So we'll fire at weapons. Oh, it didn't matter anyway. Their hull was down low. Let's depower our engines and power the med bay so these guys can heal up. Their ship explodes, leaving behind a substantial collection of useful scrap material. 3 fuel, 1 missile, 13 scrap. Look at us go. Have I fired a missile yet? I don't think so. Doing pretty good here. Alright, send everybody back to stations. Repower our engines to full power. How do I want to go now? I have 52 scrap. I can jump to this store here, but I don't know how much 52 scrap is gonna get me this early. Well, let's jump to the store and have a look. There is one thing I can think of that I might want if they had it. Oh, buddy. Look at this. So, these are the 2 systems I would really like to have in addition to what I've got by the end of the game. Cloaking, which allows us to cloak the ship. It adds 60 to our evasion chance. So if we get this up high enough, and have cloaking as well, we can make our evasion chance 100% for 5, 10, or 15 seconds, depending on how powered it is. And this is so awesome. Cloaking is super useful, especially for the end of the game final battle. Same thing with hacking. Hacking uses drone parts, and it fires a drone at the enemy ship that locks, like it says there, it locks down the doors of the system you fire it at, and it allows you to like disrupt it, depower the system for anywhere from 4 to 10 seconds based on your power level. So those are really awesome systems. Let's see what else they're selling here. Drones. They're selling drones and a drone control system. Drone control is an interesting system. Whether or not we get it on this run is going to depend on a lot of other things, but maybe we will end up with drone control. The main reason I would get drone control ever is for this, to have a defense drone. Defense drones shoot down missiles, which are very annoying. We haven't run into any enemies with missiles yet. They are easily the most annoying thing to me in the early game on hard difficulty. Any enemy that has our same missile launcher, the Artemis missile, it's so frustrating because their Artemis missiles always charge up just a little bit faster than yours do for the beginning part of the game, and so they're gonna get to fire it before you get to fire anything at them. And they'd love to fire their Artemis missiles at your weapons bay, which just makes it that much harder to, like, you know, get back to a good spot, get back to a good place in the fight where you're sort of controlling things. So that frustrates the hell out of me. I hate them. I hate enemies with missiles. And having a defense drone that can shoot them down is fucking great. So that's the main thing I like having drone control for. But I don't want to buy anything at that store, so we're just going to move on to the next beacon here. We have detected an automated rebel scout attacking a small refueling outpost. Well, I'm going to intervene and defend the outpost. We can always get scrap from blowing stuff up, but maybe they'll give me something too, if I help them out. Detecting the higher threat, the automated ship moves in to engage your ship. Alright, well, show me what you've got, automated ship. So here's how I'm gonna do this. They have a drone system here. And it is powering a combat drone, that's that's shooting a beam. So they have that, and they also have one projectile weapon which shoots one shot, which means that if it hits, it can only burst our shields. Our one layer of shields. So I think the smart play here would be to take out the drone system and let that other weapon keep firing at us, so that if any shots miss, we get, you know, experience for our crew. There are some players that would just sit here and basically grind up skills for the crew members, like just try to prolong this fight as much as possible to get more dodges and, you know, and try to level up faster. I don't play it that way. Usually by the end of the game your guys will be fully leveled as long as they're on the same system the whole time. So, I don't know. I guess that's useful, but it's not like, I don't know. That's super min-maxy. It's not really my thing. I'm firing at their piloting system because getting that into the red means they now have 0% evasion. So every shot that I fire is going to hit, meaning I can now fire on their shields and not worry about missing. Take their shields down completely. And now I can fire at whatever I want, because all of the shots are going to hit, and they only have 2 hull integrity left. Goodbye, auto-assault ship. It breaks apart, and we quickly salvage what we can. A missile, a drone part, 8 scrap. The outpost hails you after the scout was destroyed. Thanks for the help. We've been harassed non-stop by those scouts. Take this on the house. Ooh, 3 fuel, 2 missiles, and 14 scrap. Thank you. I'll take it. We have 74 scrap now. Nice. Gonna keep on saving. Yeah, so let's jump down and see what's at this beacon. Hello, your communicator opens a hail from a nearby ship. Our weapon systems are malfunctioning and we're too afraid of pirates to travel home unassisted. Can you escort us? Alright, I'll accept. I don't know, if I can take you where you're going. Great, take this bit of fuel as a down payment. We'll be 1 step behind you, following your jump signatures. Don't want to take any risks now, do we? Added a quest... Okay, so... They need to get to the next sector. So we don't really... I'm not worried, then. We can definitely work this into our route. Thank you for the 3 fuel. That's nice. I love to have, like, a lot. Look at... We've got 22. That's pretty good. Actually, that's excellent, I'd say, for fuel. That is pretty darn good. So I'm gonna jump here. Next. Okay, once you arrive, your screen lights up with warnings. A nearby pirate seems to have advanced hacking tools, and they have tried to shut down your engines. Your crew manages to keep them barely operational, and you move in to attack. Okay, so we now have only 1 bar of power to our engines here. That's annoying. They've got an ion stunner weapon and a laser weapon that only fires 1 projectile. We've managed to hit their weapons base, so now we don't need to worry about that. Their ion weapon will just keep hitting our shields. Or missing us, maybe. Hopefully. Once we hit this stage of the fight, you really hope for those shots to miss. Get some experience for our crew members. No such luck. No such luck. Alright, down goes the pirate scout. With the pirate ship destroyed, your ship's system is restored to full functionality. You salvage what you can from the debris. 1 fuel, 8 scrap. I'll take it. Always and forever. Alright, let's check out what's at this beacon. We want to hit as many as we can before the exit. Your jump leads you to nothing but empty space. This jump beacon serves no purpose other than as a connection. Alright. Darn. Ooh, look at this. We've got a distress beacon, but it's, this'll probably be the last jump we make before the exit. Because we're playing with fire here with this rebel, fleet. The distress signal is coming from a small beacon, sorry, why am I saying beacon? From a small space station orbiting an uninhabited planet. Their satellite defense system has gone haywire, and their repair crew can't approach without being fired on. They're looking for help to fix or disable it. Okay, so there's a couple of things I think that we could do in this situation if we had certain weapons or crew members, but if we promise to help, in this instance with what we have, the only thing we'd be able to do is, like, fire at it, which is what they don't want. So, I'm going to choose to leave them alone. I'm not going to promise to help because I don't have the means to actually help them. I think I would make the situation worse. So, this is a situation usually I would break out my ruler and see whether or not I want to jump to the exit. But I'm gonna go ahead and assume that the exit is about to be taken, so let's jump to the exit. We've arrived at the long-range beacon. When the FTL drive is charged, we can jump to the next sector, okay? A ship with conspicuous pirate markings is orbiting a nearby moon, broadcasting a simple message claiming to have equipment for sale. So I don't know what the chances are on this event. I think if you choose to hail the ship, I guess there's some chance that he is just selling stuff, but that's not a risk I think that it makes any sort of sense to take. If we choose this other option to attack him before he can attack, we're guaranteed a fight, and again, fights lead to scrap as long as we know how to handle them and control them. So we have that option. We can also just jump away and not deal with him at all. But if you do that, then you don't get any scrap or anything. You've just spent a fuel to jump here. So I'm going to attack him. And okay, this is the first time we've run into an enemy with a teleporter. They've teleported a human named Maria onto our ship, and it looks like she's gonna go try to attack Freddy in the weapons bay. So I'm gonna send Omar Bug Guy into the weapons bay to help with the fight. And their weapons are, they've got pretty strong weapons too. This is a pretty powerful enemy here that we're fighting right at the end of this sector. Maybe, I don't know, we can consider this sort of a boss, I guess. I think in this instance I want to use a missile. I'm gonna have my missile and burst laser both shoot at their weapons bay, because they have a burst laser Mark II, just like we do, and that is a pretty devastating weapon when you only have one layer of shields and sort of low evasion chance. They also have a teleporting bomb weapon, and I'm not sure which one this is, but taking that out would also benefit us greatly. I don't know. Think of this bomb weapon as being sort of like our missile. You'll see how the missile works here in a second. The missile is like a projectile that we fire at them. The bomb weapons just teleport like into your ship, so they can't be targeted like by drones. Oh wow, okay. So they did manage to fire their burst laser at least, but our volley completely wrecked their weapons bay, and now they're offering surrender. They're offering some of their cargo if we let them live. 3 fuel, 7 missiles, and 9 scrap. You know what? That's like... Here's the thing about this. I have a decent amount of scrap as it is. I think I could probably get more scrap out of this fight if we did not accept the surrender, but probably we would get less fuel and missiles for this. And the thing about that, right now I have 14 missiles. And I've got 19 fuel, which is plenty. But having even more would be, you know, that's obviously better. And I've gotten myself on the Kestrel Cruiser into the situation where I haven't picked up any better weapons or been able to buy them at stores, and so I'm still having to rely on my Artemis missiles like at a point in the game where I really don't want to be, and so I think having more missiles just like stored up might be a good thing. I don't, you know, to sort of like just prepare for that, like that scenario. If we get there, then I have enough missiles to sort of start using them like in fights instead of like, you know, instead of sort of keeping them on the reserve as like a plan B. Because that's sort of how, like what I try to do. Like I've explained already, like I try to conserve the missiles and only use them in an instance like this where like I was scared of those weapons that they had, so I wanted to shut that down quick. So yeah, I think I'm going to accept their surrender and take 7 missiles is a lot to get from any one event. So I'm going to accept their surrender. Annoyingly, they have they've managed to do a couple damage to our hull with after I accepted their surrender. That's silly. They fired the shots before that thing came up. So hold on. Here's what I need to do: return to stations, and then you two to the med bay. Power that up. Heal up our guys. Heal our guys up. Get everything else powered up the way it was. Alright, so we're looking at, we've got 22 fuel, 21 missiles. We have 91 scrap. We haven't spent it on anything. And our hull is looking really good. Really good. We've barely taken damage to it throughout the first sector here. So, and yes, I was right. The beacon we're at is about to be overtaken by the rebels, so time to jump to the next sector and see what awaits us. So here's the sector map. We've just done the first sector. There's going to be that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sectors. And as you can see, it's a map where, you know, it's like branching paths of sectors. So we have to sort of look ahead at... We only have so much information, really. So the more of the game you've played, I guess the better decisions you can make about what sectors you want to go to. I'm trying to decide really what would be the best in this scenario. In both cases, abandoned sector or Zoltan controlled, what I will say is that the enemies that we're going to come up against are going to be, I find, very annoying in either case. Abandoned sector, Zoltan controlled. In the abandoned sector, we're going to be facing a race called the Lanius, primarily. And they like to hack systems. They like to send the Lanius crew members to board your ship. And the thing about them is that they naturally suck the oxygen out of any room that they're in. So dealing with them when they board your ship is like way more annoying than dealing with regular boarders, because the only way to get rid of them is to go fight them, and they're sucking the oxygen out of the room that you're fighting them in. So it's rough. But Zoltan-controlled space means we're going to be coming up against a lot of Zoltan ships, probably. And they tend to start with Zoltan shields, which we came up against earlier. And like I was explaining with that Zoltan shields usually guarantees that they are going to get the first volley and sort of start the fight off on better footing than you. So now I am trying to decide what sector I want to go to based more on I feel that Zoltan controlled space will probably, there will be more stores for us to buy stuff from, so that's a factor. I think I also like the look of the sector map from that point in terms of choices that we're going to have. I can't see exactly, of course, what these sectors are going to be, but they're color-coded. And I think... Yeah, I think going Zoltan first and having 2 hostile sectors to choose from after that, followed by a choice between a hostile sector or a civilian sector, that feels good to me. That feels good to me. I'm gonna go with Zoltan here. Another thing I'm pointing out, hold on, the Zoltan patrol their borders but let you pass when you ID as Federation. Let's hope they won't be so courteous to the rebels. Okay. So, this is a non-hostile space, but there are still, like, Zoltan there are still hostile, like, Zoltan ships that can pop up in certain events, so we need to be, still need to be careful. But what was I gonna say? I wanted to point out that I have 91 scrap, and that is enough to, if we wanted to, I could go boom boom, boom boom, upgrade my shields by 2 bars, and then buy 2 bars of reactor power to actually put into them. So what I'm saying is we have enough scrap for a second layer of shields, which is a super awesome thing to have. Especially at the point where we're at right now, but the way I play it, and my suggestion to all of you, is generally this is the way that it sort of shakes out if you know what you're doing enough. I'm not an expert or anything, I'm not trying to say I'm a pro, but generally by the time you're reaching the end of Sector 1 and jumping to Sector 2, you should be around this amount of scrap if you're saving it. You're getting close to being able to buy a second layer of shields. Hold off on that. Hold off until you get to your next sector and check what beacons are immediately around you, because if there are stores, then you're going to want to check those first and see if you can't buy anything at the stores first. So, kind of the same situation as the engines as I was talking about earlier. You're trying to get to stores before you do upgrades to your ship. And as far as stores go, if you have stores that you can jump to, be on the lookout for situations like this where I could jump to 2 different beacons before I jump to this store, which is 2 more chances to get even more scrap. So we're going to jump to this distress beacon first and see what's going on there. The distress signal is coming from a small space station. Oh, we've had this event already. And I've already explained it. I'm not going to promise any help to these people. I don't have the power. So let's jump to this beacon next. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, it's a pulsar. Alright, here we go. The small rebel research station overlooks a pulsating star. Before you can react, a rebel ship spots you and moves into attack. So, we haven't run into this yet. There are some beacons where there will be this. Let's get into the fight here. We're paused. There will be this. Danger. Sometimes there's a green one that's like a, it's a thing that's on our side and it's affecting the enemy negatively. In this case, it's going to affect both of us. We're close to a pulsar, so periodic waves of electromagnetic energy is going to disrupt our systems. And I find the other, like, beacon, like the other versions of this where like there's some dangerous, like, factor in the fight that's not like just that you're fighting a guy. The other ones are manageable. The other ones are like, you know, there's asteroid belts. You can accidentally jump into an asteroid belt. And so you're having to deal with asteroids sort of pelting your shields and your hull a little bit as you're fighting the other guy. That's manageable. It's pretty easy to manage. There are events where you might jump too close to a sun and you start like getting like it does solar flares or whatever and it starts fires on your ship, but that's pretty manageable as well. You've seen how we can deal with fires. There's events where you can hit like an ionic storm, and so your total reactor power is like cut in half. So you can't really power all of your systems. That's also manageable. This is the one that I have such trouble with, because the frequency of these, you'll see it once I unpause and start the fight here, the frequency of these electromagnetic waves is, I feel like they could have cut it down a little bit, honestly. Let's see how the fight goes. Oh boy, they've got a combat drone too. That's rough. On top of these weapons, that's pretty rough. I think I'm gonna use a missile here. I'm gonna go missile on their drone bay, and I'm gonna go burst laser on their weapons. Yeah, this is rough. I'm probably about to use another missile even, because I really need just any way that they can damage me to be in the red, because this is gonna keep happening. The pulsar waves always affect your shields first, in addition to other, you know, it'll affect your shields in some other system, or maybe like 2 other systems. I'm not really sure what the rule is. Damn it, look at that, that's so frustrating. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, oh my god, okay. See this, see how it's going? Oh my goodness. Oh my, this is so frustrating. Okay, so I'm gonna send in, good lord. We really need to, oh my goodness. I might jump away from this fucking fight. This is so damned frustrating, guys. Okay. Let's pause and take... Oh my god, that's frustrating. Look how fucking... Oh my god. See what I'm talking about with pulsars? Look how... Oh, Lord all fucking mighty, yeah. Just, alright, go fix that, please. Or... So we don't all suffocate. You see the frequency of these pulsar things? This is ridiculous, guys. Oh my god. Oh my god, dude. Just keep it... Yeah, I'm gonna jump out of this fight. There's no way we're winning this shit. It's just gonna keep going like this. It is just gonna keep... Wow! Wow! How much faster can we... you know what? Fuck it. Don't worry about repairing O2 right now. Seriously, just can we repair... Can we... Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm about to spend... most of the scrap that we spent, or that we've saved up, just repairing my oh my god. That is beyond frustrating, guys. This is beyond frustrating to me. Pulsars can suck my fucking nuts. Oh my god. Oh my god. You fucking gotta fucking be kidding me. Oh my god. Let's vent the fucking room now and get the fire off the ship. Oh my god. Look how fucking bad it is, dude. Look how fucking bad. One fight. One fucking fight, you guys. One fight. That was one fucking fight, and it's because it was a fucking pulsar. Oh my fucking god. I have nothing but just fucking rage and frustration for this shittin' game right now. Pulsars are the abso-fucking-lute worst fucking thing that they ever invented. It can suck the shit directly out of my asshole, guys. I'm not kidding. I fucking hate that shit. I should have... Oh my god. We've discovered a pirate. They're attacking somebody, or they're pursuing somebody, and they want us to stay out of it for money. For scrap and for missiles and stuff. I don't know. This looks manageable. I guess you know what? Oh shit. I meant to attack them. We've accepted the bribe. Sorry. Oops. What a horrible situation. Okay, so they're... Oh my god! Alright, well... They're stupid. That's the positive here. So they've hacked... This is a hacking drone here. Which has targeted our shield room. And... when they... power it, it's gonna drain the power, see, like that. So it's draining the power out of the room. Our shields are down, but the enemies are stupid. They don't know how to time stuff. That's the advantage that we have always. I'm just gonna set it to auto fire because they're gonna keep repairing their weapons there, and that's the one thing threatening us, really. Actually, you know what? This is a case, I'm gonna just fire a missile on their weapons quick here. But like I was saying, the enemy doesn't understand how to sync up their hacking and their cloaking and their weapons. They don't know how to, like, they'll just wait. They'll just fire their weapon as soon as it's charged. And that, like, that's not effective. That, like, you'll see once we start fighting more difficult ships, like, we need to, oh, they're charging their FTL. I'm gonna fire a missile at their piloting. So the way that works, the FTL charges based on what level your engines are, and you need somebody in piloting. Piloting needs to be online, and somebody needs to be in it for the FTL to be charging, unless you have the auto-piloting thing. So... we've blown that guy up. We were getting stuff at least. You know what? Since I totally ignored the stores also, because, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go for the second layer of shields. This is important now that we're so low on our hull integrity after that ridiculous goddamn pulsar fight. Fuck that shit so hard. You pick up a Zoltan life raft floating in space. Its inhabitant asks you to retake his ship from the pirates who recently commandeered it. I'm certain it is clear, he concludes, that you must not destroy my vessel in the process, okay? I'm struggling to decide whether or not I want to engage in this fight here, because as you can see, we're up against Zoltan shields. He has an ion stunner, I think is what that one is, which we've also come up against. That's gonna hit one layer of our shields and just, you know, I don't think... the way it... So, there are ion weapons that fire faster than your shield system can recover from ionic damage, But this is not one of those weapons. This is like the most basic sort of version of it. So when it hits our shield, if they just had that weapon, then it would take out a layer of our shields, and then that layer would regenerate by the time they were firing that weapon again. And that wouldn't be a problem if their other weapon was not that flak cannon. Let me highlight it here. This is it over here. The flak cannon, it's hard to aim it, but it shoots just a bunch of junk. It'll shoot like 3 projectiles of junk at the ship, and in terms of like messing up our systems, like it's a little bit harder for them to do that, but our whole integrity is so low that I'm worried about, like, I'm not so worried about it hitting us because of systems damage. I'm worried about it actually, like, taking us out of the game if we're not able to tank it with our shields and evasion chance. So, I don't know. The problem with that is, like, avoiding fights is... Not getting into fights is a bad thing. I know it sounds weird, but, like, every opportunity we have to get scrap is crucial to our overall success. So, I don't know what to do here. I'm gonna go for it, I guess. Let's see if our shields can make the difference here, I guess. I'm not sure if that actually hit us. No, I don't think it did. I think all of that managed to get absorbed. Okay, yeah, this is working out so far. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do here? We just removed their Zoltan shield, so I'm gonna fire a missile. Oh no, they got one more volley off. Damn it! Oh, and they've hit the engines. Oh, that's frustrating. Fix the engines, Pesci. Okay. Things are going well now. We're back in control. That's good. Yeah, that fight wouldn't have looked nearly as scary to me if we were anywhere between, like, here and here in terms of hull integrity, but since we were hanging out down here, I was like, oh no. That's the thing, I was sure I'm sure I'm gonna take some hull damage, but is 5 integrity gonna be enough? I don't know. We made it work. We've got some scrap and some fuel and stuff. The Zoltan looks deeply dissatisfied with your aiming and demands to be dropped off at your earliest convenience. Oh, right. We were supposed to not destroy his ship. But that's the thing. The pirates didn't offer to surrender, so I don't know. They're supposed to surrender. This is an interesting choice, though. We can hire the Zoltan for 40 scrap. I don't know if... I guess he'll accept, but do I want that? It would be nice to have a Zoltan crew provide 1 power to whatever room they're standing in, so you just get free reactor power out of them, basically. And the other fun thing about Zoltan is if you have 2 of them, you can put them in the shield room, and they will make your first layer of shields impervious to ionic weapons, so your shield's room and the crew members in it won't be stunned if the enemy fires an ion projectile at it. So that's cool. That's a nice, like, sort of like deflection or whatever. That's like a nice counter that you can sort of invest in, having 2 Zoltans manning the shields. I don't know if I want to spend 40 scrap The thing about this is like, you've already seen it. We picked up a crew member for free. We didn't have to spend scrap to get Omar Bug Guy. We just had to fight a slaver until they got scared of blowing up, and then they offered him to us for free. So you'll get these times where you're able to buy crew members at stores or whatever. The general wisdom dictates not to do it because there exist opportunities to get crew members for free, so you're spending scrap when you don't necessarily need to. I guess I'm gonna let him go. It's hard to, but that's the decision I'm making. That's what I'm going with. And we are now able to jump to our quest-marked beacon from the previous sector. We're still leading those guys to wherever they needed to get to. Hopefully they've got a good reward waiting for us. Oh, great. No, it's a trap. We're ambushed by a rebel ship. Awesome. Excellent. Well, the good news is, weapons-wise, they're not, Actually, you know what? I was going to vent the oxygen, so they're attacking my door subsystem, and I was going to try and suffocate the guy, but I think it's going to take too long. And if he destroys the doors, and I have all the doors open, and part of the ship is, like, de-oxygenated, then whoever goes in to fix the doors is going to have to do it before they suffocate. So I'm going to send Omar Bug Guy up into the room to fight this guy so that he's not destroying that system. And then in terms of the weapons that they have, this is going to fire 2 shots, this is going to fire 1. Charge time, it's going to happen pretty close together, so there's a chance we might take hull damage here. But if we do, it would only be 1, so I think I will save my missile in this instance. Okay, that's annoying. So you see what I mean? They don't. If I had both of these weapons, a weapon that fired 2 shots and a weapon that fired 1, I would not be, even on like beginning on these like early level ships, I would not be. I would not just be firing the weapons whenever they charged up. I would be trying to fire them at the same time or staggering them in a way to deal damage to the systems that I want to hit. You know what I mean? So like, I would wait till these weapons are charged, and then I would shoot like I'd set this one to just fire at whatever and probably have it shoot first, and then wait and see whether or not it hits their shield, and if it does, then I would then fire this one, the 2 shots, and have that targeted at, you know, whatever important system I'm trying to hit so I can get the most damage. And the enemy just doesn't do that. They don't know how to sync up their weapons and actually, like, break through your defenses. So once you understand that, you can look at what weapons they have and sort of get a sense of of how much of an actual threat they are. So, unpause the game here now that I've explained that unnecessarily at length. I'll go ahead and target their shields. Maybe I'll go for their piloting next. Hell yeah. It seems like a waste to fire at their piloting because in most cases, especially early on, like piloting is going to be like our piloting. It's only going to have 1 bar dedicated to it of power, so hitting it once puts it to the red. But I just fired 3 shots at it from the Burst Laser 2. But the reason I did that is because their piloting system is farther away from their shields and their weapons, which were damaged already. And I call this, this is my philosophy of spreading out the damage. The idea being that whatever crew members are in there trying to repair all this stuff, they have more distance to cover in order to get to those rooms and fix whatever I did to them. So I could have fired 3 shots at their engines. Their engines are probably at least like level 2 like ours, 2 bars of power, maybe even 3. And you know, like on its face it doesn't look efficient, but my reasoning is that it would take them longer to get around and repair all this stuff, so I target piloting instead of engines. Oh my goodness, they are, I think they were, I'd just skipped that one text box. I think maybe it said that they were powering up their FTL, but now they're offering surrender. But here's the thing, 10 scrap, I think I can get more out of these guys. I don't need 1 drone part, and I'm pretty good on fuel. 5 is a lot, of course, but I've already got 20, so I'm gonna keep fighting them. No surrender. No surrender. I will not accept it. Alright, there we go. They are destroyed. Let's go ahead and send these guys in to heal in the medbay. I only got 5 more scrap out of it. Maybe that was... I don't know if that was the right call or not. It's not a great reward either way, really. Ah, we didn't see any of this in the previous sector, so these jumps down here are, these beacons are in a nebula. And as you can see, if we jump to them, it will make the fleet pursuit slower for some reason, so they will not jump out as far. This distance from this line to this line would be cut in half, so it'd be more like right here in between them. But when you're in a nebula, it says it disrupts your sensors, so our sensors just let us see all the rooms in our ship that people aren't in already. And not being able to see the rooms that we're not in already is not as much of a hindrance as it sounds like. So, I like jumping through nebulas if I can work it into my flight path, but these ones are kind of out of the way. I think we're probably gonna get this jump. Well, I don't know. I can maybe do this, then this. That'll probably work out. So, 1, 2, 3 more jumps before the exit. A Zoltan ship is waiting at this beacon. They request your identification, but radiation from the sun in this system is disrupting your communications. They take your silence for aggression and move in to attack. Well, that's really unfortunate, because I can already see this is, I think, our first enemy packing a missile weapon. An Artemis missile. So like I was explaining before, they're going to get to fire this thing before anything else happens. And it's going to do 2 damage if it hits, which means we're going to be sitting at 1 total. Does not feel good, man. Does not feel good. And unfortunately, we just have to watch it happen. We can't jump away until our FTL drive is, Oh, it only does 1 damage. Why did I think it was going to do 2? Oh, brother. This is rough. Okay. We've busted through their shields. I'm going to try and get a missile off before... Oh no! It hasn't done anything to the Artemis missile. If they fire that and it hits, this is the end of the run. And there's nothing I can do about it. You know, I can just watch. And we gotta hope that their missile misses when they fire it here. We've got a 12% chance. Oh! Oh, wait a minute. Okay, maybe I think we might have set their weapons bay on fire. Oh my god. Okay. I've got my Artemis system powered up. I've got it on standby here in case they try to do anything funky. Oh my god, this is crazy. I shouldn't have done... Why did I do that? I just wanted to see them gone. I didn't need to fire that missile. That was silly. I'm gonna send these guys to start fixing the cameras, send you in to heal in the medbay. Their ship explodes, leaving behind a substantial collection of useful scrap material. 1 fuel, 1 missile, 18 scrap. So here's why this is really exciting to me, all of a sudden. If we come in... no, this is not where I'm gonna see it. Where will I see it? Let's fix everything first. Let's just get everything normal here. Send everybody back to their stations. Pause the game. So this is what I'm wanted to show off. Each ship has 3 achievements associated with it, and it also has this thing over here that shows you whether you got a victory against the flagship at the end of the game. 1 tick for each of the 3 layouts of cruiser. So I've already gotten a victory with the layout that we're playing right now. I've gotten like a couple already of victories with this layout. But in order to unlock the second layout of this ship, I have to get at least 2 of these ship-associated achievements, and I've done this one, having 11 systems installed at one time. But I need one of these other 2. Have 6 unique aliens on the Kestrel Cruiser simultaneously, or this one. As the Kestrel Cruiser, repair back to full health when it only has 1 HP remaining. So we're sitting at 1 HP. Meaning that if my butt is able to find a store somehow, and I have enough scrap, then I might be able to pull that that achievement off here. It would be really crazy. This is interesting, guys. This is interesting. Oh, brother. Without active sensors, you have no other option but to look out of the viewports in apprehension. It's eerily quiet. This is the only thing I really have a problem with in the nebulas, is that, I'm not gonna say that this is a fact, but in my experience, it seems that the nebulas have a higher, like, percentage of beacons that are just that, like a beacon where nothing happens. You just spent a fuel to... It's just a connection point. I feel like there's more of those in nebulas, so I guess that's the one... That's the one real drawback to them. I've seen people playing FTL that will not go through nebulas, and I think that's sort of like a newbie... sort of mindset, where they're like, "Ugh, I'm scared of nebulas because I can't see what's going on my ship," and it's like... If you know how to handle it, it's not a problem at all. You would think that not being able to see everything going on your ship would be a bad thing, but as long as you are listening to the audio cues, you can always know what the problem is. So in a nebula, if, for instance, you get hit by a very powerful laser weapon, there are certain ones that are extremely strong projectiles that have a chance to tear a hole in your ship in whatever room that it hits, and it'll start sucking the oxygen out of the room. You gotta send people in to fix the hole first, and then fix the system. And there's a specific sound that happens when the projectile hits, and it does that. So if you can't see it, you'll know anyway that that's happening. Same thing if a fire breaks out on your ship, if you know what it sounds like, then you'll know that there's a fire on your ship somewhere. And if you look at your at the bottom left and the bottom right in any fight, at your systems and your subsystems, if you get boarded and somebody is attacking one of those systems, and it's a room that nobody else, that your crew is not in, you will see the red. You'll see that the system is being attacked, and so you'll know that they are in there. And so you can either send somebody in to fight them, or you can use that knowledge to vent the oxygen out of that room and, you know, suffocate them. So basically, not being able to see all the rooms on your ship like this is not really a problem. And I've seen so many people do that, where they're just like, oh, I'm scared of the nebulas. And it's like, man, but you can hit more beacons. You can hit more beacons in nebulas. You can hit more beacons in nebulas, the fleet goes slower. Like I was saying, there are a lot of those, like, sort of just nothing beacons that are just connection points, but there are also plenty of events in nebulas that can get you some cool stuff and some scrap if not. So don't sleep on nebulas, guys. I love them. Oh, goodness gracious, we're in an asteroid field. This might be where it ends for us. I don't know. You arrive in an asteroid field and are greeted by a Zoltan guard. By attempting to access these closed mining fields, you are in violation of the Natural Mineral Protection Act. Your weaponry will be confiscated for processing. You don't have time for this. Yeah, I guess I don't. Well, the good news here is that the asteroids are going to be hitting me and him. Or them, I guess. I always call a thing him. I don't know why. It's just this is a ship. There's people on it. I don't know who they are. Yeah, the asteroids are going to be hitting both of us. So the asteroids are kind of helping me out in that I'm not going to have to fire as many rounds of the burst laser to get through these Zoltan shields. Some of it will already be down because of the asteroids. And in terms of their weapons, basically the situation is that I'm safe as long as they don't sync up too well with the asteroids hitting me. And if I can hit their weapons bay and damage it enough, come on, they've got a pretty good dodge chance, it seems like. Oh, oh, that's good. Okay, and an asteroid just demolished their piloting, so now anything I fire at them is gonna hit. This is good. This is really good. I'm gonna use a missile, and I've got the burst laser already. It's about to fire at their weapons. I'm gonna use a missile on their shields as well here. Okay, yeah, we are golden. We are golden on this fight. So any asteroid that comes towards their ship is gonna hit. And anything I fire at them is going to hit. And they have no shields, so anything that hits is going to cause hull damage. They're sitting at 2. Basically, they are fucked. They are not surviving this. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it's got to be. The ship explodes, leaving behind a substantial collection of useful scrap material. Awesome. Give it to me. So when we're in these danger zones, like an asteroid belt or whatever, even after we win the fight, we still have to wait for our FTL to charge. Normally, if there's no danger, we can just jump immediately, even if it wasn't charged all the way. But in these scenarios, we have to wait, so That's one reason to upgrade your engines. It does make your FTL drive charge faster. You've arrived at the long-range beacon. When the FTL drive is charged, you can jump to the next sector. All right. You arrive to find what appears to be a colonized moon. However, scans show it has been abandoned. You also detect an abandoned space station near the beacon. Oof. I am really digging hard in my memory drives here to remember what the possible outcomes of this are. Basically, I'm trying to decide if there's any risk of hull damage, because if I take any at all, that's it. We're done. But I really don't remember what can happen if we do this. I'm gonna go for it, I guess. We'll just take this risk and see. I'm gonna move in to examine the station. You approach cautiously, but you detect no danger. It appears to have been a small rest stop that was abandoned a while ago. You take what few supplies you can find. Alright. 9 scrap is not great, but I guess we didn't die, so we can be thankful for that. This is really unfortunate. I could have made I could have made one more jump, I think. I could have made it happen if I had gone one more jump in this nebula, maybe. Whatever, we gotta leave. And I tell you what, between a rock-controlled sector and a rebel-controlled sector, I'm gonna take the rebel-controlled sector. I do not want to... I think if I was in a better situation weapons-wise and hull integrity-wise, I'd probably be super excited to go visit the rock sector, but things aren't going great for me right now. I'm sort of feeling like this run is now... I'm sort of gearing it towards just getting this tough little ship achievement. Like, if I can just make it to a store and sell off all my crap and get that achievement, then then I'll be happy. I don't foresee getting to the end of this run. I really don't. Oh, alright. That's nice. When you ask a nearby station for aid, a friendly programmer gives you the schematics for a drone. So we got 12 scrap and a combat drone Mark 1 schematic. So if we had a drone control system, then we could use that, but we do not, of course. Alright, I'm gonna go for the distress beacon here. See what we're dealing with. Once you arrive at the location of the distress call, a civilian ship hails you. Thanks for responding to our beacon. Our FTL navigation has gone haywire, and we can't plot a course to the nearest depot to get it fixed. Could you lead us there? Okay, I'll take you. Take this bit of scrap as a down payment. We'll use your jump signatures to follow you. You're really helping us out here. Okay, so they're adding a quest marker to this sector. And we're getting 12 scrap off of them. That's nice. Ooh! Here's the store. I think we're about to get my achievement. Probably end this run and this video. Let's go ahead. I'm just gonna fix up as much as I can with what I've got here. There we go. Achievement unlocked. Tough little ship. And I've unlocked the Kestrel Cruiser layout B. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm probably gonna do a run of that later tonight. Now that I've unlocked it. That's awesome.